Good morning, mathematicians. We are finishing out our week with the Thursday column, and it's kind of nice. It's a little shorter today. We did all of our work yesterday here for Wednesday when really this was kind of for both days. So we're actually jumping in right here. We have just three things to think about. Now, first of all, this one is saying what over 4 times 65 will be exactly equal to 65. That's what this question is asking us. Well, of course, for this factor to equal this factor, we have to multiply by 1 because 1 times 65 will equal 1. So we need to make this a fraction of 1. And how do we do that? What over 4 equals 1? Well, that is going to be 4 over 4 times 65 will equal exactly 65. So our answer here is really x equals 4. This is really a scaling question. For this factor times this factor, to keep this equal, it has to be 1. Okay? All right, let's come to this one. We have an irregular shape. Look, it looks like an L for Lehman. We are asked, what is the volume of the below shape? Well, this we're going to call prism A, and this we're going to call prism B. We've got to calculate the volume of both and then add them together, right? So for the volume of prism A, this is for prism A, we're going to have length times width times height. I know my length is going to be 6. I know my width. What's this going to be? The entire length is 8, but look, I know this portion of it is 3, so that's what tells me that this particular length is going to be 3, right? Because if I have 5 plus 3, that gives me my overall length of 8. So I know that that width is going to be 3, and I know that the height of this prism is 2. Well, 6 times 3 is 18. 18 times 2, if you're unsure, remember, anytime you're in doubt, you can come to the side and write it out, and we find that the volume of prism A is going to be 36 centimeters cubed, right? Now that is for prism A. We have to find the volume of prism B, and then we'll add those together. So boys and girls, here I have, again, length times width times height. I know my length here is going to be 5. I know my width here. What's my width going to be? Here I had a length of 5. Here I want to know what this portion was. Well, here I knew that it was 2, so I also know that it's 2 here as well. I find that from a coordinating dimension. And my height is also going to be 2. So I know the volume of prism E or prism B is 2 times 5 is 10. 10 times 2 is 20. So we have 20 centimeters cubed, right? Now I'm going to come and draw a little arrow. I'm going to bring it up here because I know to find the overall volume, I have to do the volume of prism A plus the volume of prism B in order to get my overall volume. The volume of prism A was 36. The volume of prism B was 20. When I add 36 plus 20, I get 56. And I remember, boys and girls, that I have to say 56 units cubed. And what was the unit that this was reported in? It was reported in centimeters. So my answer to that question is going to be 56 centimeters cubed. Once again, I'm thankful for a little bit of extra space, and I utilize that up on top. We have one more question for week 31. And here we are asked to fill in the blanks with numbers between 1 and 8 to make 2 lines. Plot the points on the graph above. So my line 1, notice they all have an x of 0. So I know they are actually going to lay right here on the x-axis, and I can plug in really anything for the y that's going to make a nice line. I am going to go over 0, and I'm going to go up how many? Now that I look at this, boys and girls, remember that my x-axis is 0. So really, boys and girls, when I go over 0, I'm on the y-axis. So I think the maker of this actually really kind of has this backwards because if I want my line to fall right here, what I'm going to have is the y-axis is going to be 0 so that again, when I look at this, I can have it fall right here on this x-axis, which is really what they're wanting. Because when I look at the key that he's created, he has the line going like this. And let me do this in a different color. Since I've circled it in red, I'm going to make my line be purple. Okay. And then he has, maybe the other line could be something like this. So the way that he has done this is a little bit different than I think what he intended if we're wanting to have these two purple lines, okay? So instead, for line 1, I'm going to write my line 1 points here. I'm going to have the first one be over 3 up nothing. So I'm going to make this be 3 comma 0. Then I'm going to have my next point be 5, 0. See, I went over 5 and up nothing. Now I'm going to have my next one be 6, 0 right here. And my last one for line 1, I'll have be over 7, up 0. And look, really, boys and girls, what he should have had was the x be a 0, right? If you did this on your own and you have something different, that is fine. But let's take a look at this so that we can really see when we're playing with having that horizontal line, it is the y that is going to remain the same. And in this case, if I want it to sit right here on 0, it has to be 0, right? Now let's go ahead and let's take a look at line 2. Now I'm going to put my line 2 over here, right? So again, this is going to be different than what the maker of this worksheet has. And again, he had a lot that he was looking at and doing. It's okay that he made a little error here, but let's go ahead and let's do some mathematical thinking. I want this to be in this line right here. So I'm going to make my first point be right here. For that to happen from the origin, I have to go over 2 and up 1. So I'm going to go over 2, up 1. Now, maybe my next point will be right here. So I'll go over 3, but also up just 1. So it is the y that is going to remain 1, not the x, okay? Now, again, I just have to do 2 more points that also fall on that line. They can be anything, but I'm going to go ahead and do these. This one is going to be over 5, up 1. And this one is going to be over 6, up 1. So we kind of made our own answer grid. These are my answers for line 2. And over here, these are my answers for line 1. Even though it had a little error, this was a great opportunity to discuss this and to see exactly why for line 1, our y is going to be that constant 0. And for line 2, our y is going to be that constant 1. Now that we have that, we know that the two lines are parallel because they will go on and on forever and never touch.